So, good afternoon folks, and welcome to draw number 34 of the Club 500, and I'm absolutely delighted to welcome today the one, the only, Mr. Ross Thompson.
Thank you, Brian. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure. More of a pleasure than you can imagine.
Normally, yeah.
So, for those of you unaware of the situation, Ross decided not to turn up to Links Park a few weeks ago, back on the 1st of October, and hasn't been with us since until returning today. So we thought we'd take the opportunity just to bring everybody up to speed with just exactly what's been going on in the life of Mr. Ross Thompson. So if we could start there, if you want to take us back to Saturday the 1st of October.
Okay. Yeah, well, I got up as normal, went, fed the cats, all that kind of business, and I was sat in my kitchen.
Yeah.
And this must be about 11:15, between 11:15, 11:30. And I'd taken a drink of juice, I was just sat there, and all of a sudden there was this pain started in my back that shot right to the front of my body, and then it stopped. And it was instantly that, and I thought, oh, that didn't feel good. Then sweat started to form on my arms out of absolutely nowhere, and then disappeared. And I thought, that's definitely not good. And then that pain here just got worse and worse and worse. And in all honesty, very, very quickly, I realised, I think I'm actually dying here.
Really?
It's a strange, and unless you're in the situation, you know your own body, and I just knew this is far worse than anything I've ever experienced before, and I definitely am not in a good way here. So I'm not one to panic or anything, so I didn't, but I thought I'm going to have to phone an ambulance, and I'll tell you, I forgot all about this, but let it never be said that I'm not committed to this club, because before I phoned the ambulance, I messaged Davey to say, I'm really sorry, Davey, I don't think I'm going to make it in, I'm in a lot of pain and I think I'm going to phone an ambulance. So I'd forgotten all about doing that, but I did eventually get around to phoning them, and they sort of said, look, could you give it half an hour and phone us back? So I was just lying on the kitchen floor, and my sister had made it on the floor in the kitchen. Oh, I couldn't, I was trying to get comfortable, I just couldn't. So I was on the kitchen floor, and my sister had come through from St Cyrus, and by the time she arrived, I was saying, look, this is definitely really serious, you're going to have to phone the ambulance. And thankfully they did, they turned up, and yeah, then it was a case of getting to the back of the ambulance, get some pain relief in, and they whisked me off to the hospital. So that was the events, the beginning of it.
So yeah, I mean, I remember turning up about 2:30 that day, walking into the stadium here, and there was a really kind of strange atmosphere, because news had started to kind of break, but nobody knew the exact situation. You know, the communication wasn't that great. But I think for the most of the people out in the stadium, the biggest realisation came just before half time when Louis Milne scored, and it was really quiet.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm kind of disappointed you didn't send your sister along in your place, you know?
Yeah, she's got a good voice as well. She's a school teacher too. She can shout.
So you're pissed off to 9 Wells. So
yeah.
take us through how they came to work out the diagnosis.
So I mean, first of all, I was in A&E, and I don't remember an awful lot about that, but I do remember feeling quite relaxed because I knew I was in the right place. And then the next hello, so they strapped me all up. Then the next hello there was all this beeping going on, and two nurses came across and said, look, you're going to have to start behaving yourself here. And I went, oh, what's wrong? He goes, well, all that beeping was because your oxygen levels went to a critical level because you fell asleep. And they said, look, you can't fall asleep. It's one thing you can't do. So I didn't fall asleep. But I was so weak and faint. They wanted to take an X-ray, and unfortunately I couldn't sit up for it. So I had to prop myself against the machine until I could take the X-ray, and then get back onto the bed. So that was done, and then I had another type of scan done, a CT scan, and again, memory was it was just a case of in and out, and that was my first day really. I got taken to Ward 7, which is the surgical ward, because I think at that point they thought that I'd maybe perforated my stomach, and I think that was judged on what they'd seen on the X-ray. So I was up there, and then the next morning I felt okay, wasn't in as much pain as I'd been the day before, and they came round and they said, we're not entirely sure, we think it's some sort of trauma, or it could be pancreatitis. And the reality was, they've obviously got a list of things that they were going through, and it's perfectly the right thing to do. And they were just checking things off, like being hit by a car, being in a fight, pancreatitis, gallbladder issues, perforated stomach, and so on. And eventually, just got to the end of the list. And I was quite clearly losing blood because the hemoglobin levels had gone way down. So they gave me a couple of pints of blood. And on the Monday, I went for a scan at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was back up in the ward about 4:20. And at 4:30, when they came round to see everyone, they had my results on the laptop, and they said, "We found it. We know what it is. You've had an aneurysm occur in an artery leading into your liver, which is very rare, and it's the reason why it's not something we would have gone looking for." And they could see the two ends flapping about. So there's relief in the fact that they know what it is. And about 15 seconds after they told me, they got a message to say that the surgeons downstairs wanted me down there. And at about 5:15, that was me wheeled down to have my actual operation, which is a fascinating thing because they went in through my groin, and I could stay awake and watch the whole thing on the screen. And it's difficult to describe. It was like a little hook type thing that you could see on the screen. And once they'd done all this, they just brought the two arteries together. And there was a hole created to put one of them in, put in some stents, cauterised the whole thing to keep it all stuck together, and that was it. Job was done. And the next morning, it was a case of, if your hemoglobin levels don't drop today, you could be out at night. So you're going from no idea what's going on, on the Sunday really, to you're on your way home on Tuesday evening.
Sounds like they had something like this with all the different possibilities.
Well,
and they were just randomly taking them out. Could it be this? Could it be that?
I think it must have been incredibly frustrating for them because they're looking at you and they're going, there's a pretty fit young guy, there, and we just don't know why. Just don't know what's wrong. Couldn't work out what it was. So it was a relief to finally get it sorted, because the blood's ending up in my chest cavity, it's surrounding all my organs, and it wasn't a pleasant experience. I'm not going to lie. It's not something I want to repeat in a hurry.
So having gone through all that and eventually come out of hospital, just describe how your kind of recovery, what sort of state fitness wise you were in, how long it's taken you to get back to full health.
Well, one of the things that I did was I had the option of getting a wheelchair to take to the front of the building, and I said I'd rather try and walk it. Now I've walked this journey many times, because when our girl was born, he was premature, and there was weeks that I was going in there. So I used to do this walking in minutes, as in like a few minutes, and it must have taken me a good 15 minutes to get from the ward to the front, because with not having the hemoglobin, I just didn't have the energy required to get me there any faster. But it gave me that base. And the consultants, when I was leaving, they said, the reality is, you just need to get your hemoglobin levels up. There's no major change for you in terms of your life here. It's your heart's in a good condition, your lungs in a good condition, you go to the gym, you're not overweight, or not as overweight as you could be. So just get those hemoglobin levels back up, and you'll be fine. And they were absolutely right. It's taken a while. I mean, that's 2.5 weeks really since I got home. But every single day it's just got a little bit better and a little bit easier to do things. And I'm going to be honest, it's actually stopping myself doing too much that I find is the frustrating thing, because I like to be doing things, I like to be busy. So I've just forced myself to be a little bit calmer with things.
I guess
today didn't help.
I guess the keyhole surgery bit would have sped up the recovery, the fact that it wasn't major surgery.
Absolutely. In fact, I'd said to the consultant on the Tuesday, I like going to RPM classes in the mornings. In fact, I'll mention, Gillian, Fiona, Colin, Kathy. I honestly believe that if I hadn't been going to that 3 times a week, I'm not sure how well I would have done, because my lungs being surrounded by blood meant they weren't working as efficiently. My heart had to take over, and I remember my heart really beating. and which is the reason why they got the defibrillator from the RNLI place. So I'm grateful to them for that. But the guy said, I said, so when can I go back? And he says, look, if your hemoglobin levels are better next week and there's no swelling and there's no bruising, there's no reason why you wouldn't go back. I did say to Gillian, it's going to be November. I'm going to take full advantage of not having to be there for a while. But honestly, I mean, it's incredible. I'm not joking. For me, it shows you how your body is a machine. And when it breaks down, it can break down badly. But when they fix it, you just get back on the horse and you just get going again.
Yeah. No, amazing.
It is incredible. I mean, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to the surgeons, to all the doctors, the nurses, consultants, everybody on Ward 7 there in Nine Wells did an absolutely tremendous job. And without what you're doing, I simply just wouldn't be here. And I can't thank them enough for everything they did. It was first class care. Yeah, it really was.
Excellent. Well, delighted to have you back, obviously.
Delighted to be here.
Everybody around the club's delighted to have you back too. So, what we'd like to do, we've obviously turned the tables, we gave him a rest today.
Yeah.
He'll be back in his usual place and doing his usual duties from now on. But we wanted to give you the opportunity, obviously, to hear the story, to get the update, but then also to give you the chance. 34 draws in, you've never had the chance.
I've never had this opportunity to put my own ball out there.
Absolutely, there you go. So, what we're going to do, pick 3 balls out. First ball wins £500, second ball wins £100, and the third ball wins £50. So without further ado, Ross,
I should know exactly what I'm doing here, eh?
And I've got the winning numbers right here.
I've been told not to do this so many times. I've been told don't hurl them too much, be calm, don't put the ball back in when you're finished, all that. Right, here we go, here's the first one.
So the £500 one, number 154. And number 154 is Jamie Pert. Congratulations, Jamie, you've just won £500.
Perty, I better see some of this. Bottle of whiskey or something, that'll do nicely. Unbelievable.
Well done, Jamie.
So the next member of the whiskey club.
For £100.
Okay.
Number 30. And number 30 is, winning £100, is Callum Stewart. So congratulations, Callum. And finally, £50 is number 156. And number 156 is Ian McPherson. So congratulations, Ian, you've won yourself £50.
Can't believe I picked Perty.
I know.
Cannot believe it. Unbelievable.
So, listen, thank you very much. As I say, I'm sure all your family and all your friends are delighted to see you back, and everybody out there and everybody associated with the club, so delighted to see you back fit and healthy. And we just look forward to you getting back to doing what you do best.
I enjoyed what I was doing today. Shouting out goal twice was a bit of a bonus, I'm not going to lie.
Thanks very much, buddy.
It's been a real
really
pleasure.
good to see you.
Glad to be back,
Cheers.
pal.